Good morning again, beloved. It is Monday, 7:30 Central Time, and I just want to say hi and I appreciate everyone who listens. I have a question. Do you know that children react, but adults choose to respond? I want to say it again. Children, they react, but adults choose to respond. One of the hardest things there is to realize is that you and I need to choose to grow up. We can't continue to act like children. One of my favorite verses in the Bible is Luke 21:19. And Luke 21:19 says, "In your patience possess ye your souls." It's a really nice way of saying if you can be patient, if you can learn to slow down, if you can learn to back up and wait, you can harness your emotions. You can harness your runaway thoughts. You can harness those things that cause us hurt and pain, and oftentimes hurt and pain for others. If we can learn, if we can grow up and stop reacting to everything that's done and everything that's said, and we choose to respond. And responding means I've thought about it ahead of time. I've thought it out enough to know this is really what I want to do, not just the knee jerk reaction to a particular situation. If we can do that, we can diffuse many problems before they happen. We can choose to not be a part of the problem, but become a part of the solution. In your patience, if we have patience, we can possess our souls, our mind, our will, and our emotions. Too many times we're in such a hurry these days, and we live in a culture that loves hurry. We just exalt busy and hurry as if it's God. And yet his word says, if you'll slow down, if you can learn to be patient, if you can learn to wait, you can harness your emotions. Think of the things that you could have prevented if you'd have just slowed down enough to think about what you were going to say before you said it, or think about what you were going to do before you did it. You know, when you really come down to it, when it comes to your children and your spouse and your neighbors and your boss, if we can slow down and think about what we're going to say before we say it, we many times wouldn't say the things we say. If we could stop and slow down and wait to react to a thing, wait to respond to a thing, wait to have action toward a particular thing, if we could wait just a second or two, you know, that count to 10 and then well, you'd be better off. There's a real truth to that. And you can't just count to 10 and everything be fine. But if you can choose to wait, maybe counting to 10 will help you wait. But if you just count to 10, like, you know, when you hide and seek, you count to 10 and then you go find. If you're just counting just to release your anger anyway, you're missing the point. The counting to 10 was meant to slow you down, was meant to help integrate patience into the decision. Another scripture I love is James 1:19 where it says, "Let every one of us be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger." Now, I don't think that's in order of importance, that it's better that you be quick to think than slow to speak. I don't think it's in order of importance. I do think it's in order of how it happens or how it should happen. That if we're quick to hear, if we're listening better, then we will be slow to speak. And if we're slow to speak, then the resulting thing would be slow to anger. I think it's in order of how they work, how they function. And so I love the fact that God says to us, um, I want you to be quick to hear, to truly listen. You know, if we would listen better instead of just what we think we heard, and then choose what do I want to say to that? How do I want to respond to that? If we think about what we're going to say before we say it, we wouldn't say half of the things we say. If we'd wait just 10 seconds, let alone a minute or 10 minutes, sometimes I just have to tell people, wait, I need a few minutes to process that. What I'm actually doing is I'm trying to make sure to get my emotions in check, slowing down, being patient, putting my emotions in check, harnessing them so that I can think about what did I really hear? What do I think about what I heard? And how do I want to respond to that? What are the words I want to use? Now, the crazy thing is when you need to slow down the most, that's when we react the easiest. When there's someone says something that's hurtful, when someone is hateful, when someone responds negatively, we immediately want to react to that. We want to just jump in and stand our ground and justify our actions and all that kind of stuff. But again, if we have patience, we can harness our emotions. If we can think about what we're going to say before we say it. Now, it may even be true what you're saying, but if you'll think about how you're going to say it before you say it, it would come out differently. It wouldn't be so accusing. It would be more a matter of fact versus an accusation. A lot of that comes with how quickly we respond versus slowing down and thinking about what we're going to say. And if we think about it for a little bit and then speak, it allows us to not be as quickly to anger because we thought about it and we've realized, wait, I don't want to make this worse. How many arguments have we escalated because we let their response, we let their action, we let the way they talk to us create the way we responded back. We reacted to their reaction. We put gas on the fire. How many times, if we would have slowed down, could we have stopped an argument with the spouse, stopped an argument with the child, and thought about it for just long enough to go, what do I want to say? How do I want to say it? What is the outcome I'm actually after? And can I find common ground when we speak to our spouse? I know that you said that and it's because you're hurt. You felt I did something wrong. Can we talk about that for just a second? I'm not sure, if I did what you said I did, or if I did, I'm sorry. If we would just think, if we would slow down instead of reacting like children, if you just pay attention, children just react to everything. When they're excited, they react. When they're angry, they react. When they're upset, they react. Everything is an immediate reaction. That's because they're a child. When we were a child, we spoke as a child. We thought like a child. We acted like a child. But the scripture is really, really clear. We're supposed to grow up. And when we grow up, we're supposed to put away childish things. I've watched many, many adults discuss, argue at a restaurant over something, and they're just reacting. They're just 5-year-old kids who are going to pick up their marbles and go play with somebody else because the spouse didn't respond the way they thought they should have, or whatever. We're reacting to things instead of choosing to respond. And when we choose to respond, it's a nice way of saying we're slowing down, we're being patient, we're thinking about what we're going to do. We're not just a knee-jerk reaction, we're responding. And so today, don't be children, be an adult. Put on your big boy pants today and intentionally choose to think about what people are saying, to think about how you're going to respond, to slow down and harness your emotions by being patient, by choosing to be a better listener than someone who's just talking. So I hope this has helped you today. If you think it would help somebody you're connected to, if you just want to share it, that would help me, help others, and you and I together will continue to change thousands of lives. I'm going to take a few minutes and see if I can say hi to a few folks. And so I'm very grateful for those who watch. Jimmy, good morning, my pastor friend. I love you so much. Kendall, love you. Thank you for listening. Rachel, Roger, you guys are awesome. Have a great week. Love you all so much. Looking forward to next Monday.